Hello, beautiful soul, and welcome to the Little Reader's house. I'm the Little Reader, and you're in my house. I looked around and forgot where I was for a second, which is awesome. That's how you know the meditation's doing something. My rocks. I would just like you to meet my rocks real quick before we go anywhere. Garnierite. Allegedly also known as green moonstone. But the word on the street is that they're not the same. So if you've got any education for me on that, drop it, please. I'd love to learn. Anyway, these are the homies for today. They're going right on my lap. And I also have another special guest. Oh my God. Can you see it? It's the Rainbow Brain Skull Oracle deck by an artist self-identified as Ramin Nazer. You can follow on Instagram, has been featured on YouTube, is featured in various podcasts. Ramin, if this gets back to you, big fan right here, and lots of gratitude for this deck. We are bringing it back to the olden days for today's episode, and we're going to do a pool to get our question and then channel straight from source. So today, Spirit's saying, use the deck, Amanda. Use the deck. Much like use the force. Also, can we take a moment to just gaze upon the beauty that is around us? Stunning. So use the deck to channel a question from the audience. I have been wanting to use this beautiful deck since I first heard that it was going to be re-released, because I believe it was released as a limited edition at some point last year, 2023. And then it became available for pre-order. I pre-ordered it. It took a few months to get to me, and when I say I thought about it every day, I mean that. But it has not been used for any Little Reader content ever. So, beloved, beautiful soul, you are getting the first looks. So, Spirit, for this message channeled straight from you today, you say that the audience has a question, even if they don't consciously realize what that question is just yet. What is it? You tell me when to stop, beautiful soul. Look at the deck, and you tell me, when to stop. What does it say? I can't read it on the screen. Popping this beauty over to the side. It says, I am brand new, plus teenager me, plus childhood me, plus baby me, plus source. Whoa, beautiful. So, I am brand new is right at the top. If you're just listening, it's the silhouette of an individual, and then many silhouettes within that individual's head with the words plus teenager me, plus childhood me, plus baby me, plus source. Integration. A song comes to mind. I'm going to prop this right where I can see it. A song comes to mind, which I believe was initially created by Nine Inch Nails and then covered perhaps by Johnny Cash. Perhaps. And the part that's coming up is something like, what have I become? My only friend. Everyone I love goes away in the end. And something to the effect of, and you can have it all, my empire of dirt. I will something, I will make you hurt. It might be called Hurt. So, the question that's coming in by the collective that lands on this video, conscious or unconscious, it's something that's on the collective mind. Who am I? What am I becoming? Who will I become if I evolve? And what do I do with all of my problems? Who am I? Such a perfect question. Something my teacher David G used to ask us as students to ask. Who am I? Who am I? A sacred question. Speaking of which, if you are looking for a podcast recommendation, my teacher has just started one. I'll link it down below. At the intersection of mind and heart, is our form. And in a world where we are trained to survive, we get the You Are Your Form program. This is the program that's given to us like a disc. And it's plugged into the mind. It's plugged into every aspect of ourselves. Growing up, you are your form. You must be, because when your form is hurt, you feel pain. When your form is rewarded, you feel pleasure. You feel it, so it must be you. So that's one of our first identities. Then, as we explore the realm of mind, it's easy to identify with that realm, even though we can't see it. We can't see thoughts. They're half forms. They're visible somewhere that only we perceive. They can often be made into something here in the physical world. But while they're living as a thought, they're a half form, much like a dream. And it's easy to identify with our mind next. That's the next thing we go for. We're like, yeah, I am my thoughts, my beliefs. And in my experience, and then we go through lives, particularly adolescent and adult life, when we're forming our identity further, getting it even more concrete. We base it on what we think about life and what we think about the world of forms. And the human body isn't the only form out there. There's also houses and cars, streets, cities, towns, countries, states. We judge all those forms, come to conclusions, stash them in the mind, and then identify with them hard. But then there's also the abstracts, ideas, philosophy, religion, spirituality even. Our thoughts about the way we feel, which is much different than the truth of what we feel. Our thoughts about the way we feel are still a few degrees of separation away from the truth, but we do create an identity using our thoughts about the way we feel. And we have this whole self that we take around with us everywhere. We also have our mood as an identity. And the most prevalent mood that we experience in our day-to-day life, we start to take on as a personality. So if we're typically feeling a good mood, we might say we're a happy person. If we're typically in a sarcastic mood where we like to snipe, knock people down a notch as often as possible, we might say we're a sarcastic person. If we are an intellectual darling, and we are able to, with bird's eye view, spot incongruencies and assemble and construct ideas, put them together to create something profound, ingenious, or interesting. Or if we're able to remember facts, we have a good head for knowledge, good memory to remember facts. We might say we're an intelligent person. So the state of being that we sit in most of the time is how we develop our personality identity. So now we've got a form, we've got a mind, and we've got a personality. All these layers. And we acknowledge that those layers change. We acknowledge that we can, over the course of linear time, track how baby me had a different personality or the same personality as 31-year-old me. We can track how childhood me had a different form than 31-year-old me. We can track how teenager me had a different mood than 31-year-old me. We can track the differences across linear time, so we know that it's possible for identity to change. We know that it's ever changing, ever evolving, can be whatever we want to be. And we're living in an age, in a world, where it's celebrated in certain parts of the world. Where I live, Los Angeles, California, United States of America, it is celebrated in many ways to create your identity and to share that identity. It's celebrated to reveal your identity, to discover your identity. The journey of identity, exploration, discovery, and creation is embraced. That's a great privilege to live in an area where that is welcome, within certain bounds. Even here in open-minded Los Angeles, certain takes, hot or otherwise, are not welcome. Certain identities are frowned upon. But for the most part, it is becoming more en vogue as areas of the world, particularly the densely populated ones, become more open to acknowledging that identity is something that we can create, that we can change. Spirits take. Top of the head. I am brand new. Spirit's take is no matter how you change your identity, you are divine. Spirit's take is no matter how you don't change your identity, how it remains so consistent and measured, you are the divine. And the way this is possible is because spirit doesn't reside exclusively in the mind, So Spirit is not judging everything as good or bad. And also because Spirit recognizes the awareness that animates the form as itself. Like recognizing your own handwriting or your signature, something you've created that's very specific to you. The way you would recognize your own art on a wall, in a gallery. Spirit recognizes you. But is Spirit recognizing your hairstyle, your personality, your mood, your beliefs, your form? Yes. Spirit embraces all of those things because they were created by you. But the you that Spirit is pointing to when it says you is not form, beliefs, thoughts, opinions, judgments, accomplishments, creations. What you have ownership of. The you that Spirit recognizes when it says you, hey, that's me, is the animating force underneath it all. Underneath it all. There's this white light. And it's illustrated even here. Except it's blue. Source. The innermost layer. Residing in the heart. That's driving the entire operation. And it seems like the further we get away from the heart, the more impermanent aspects of us become. For example, outside of our form is pretty far away from the heart. Our objects, very impermanent. Even our relationships can be impermanent. What we accomplish, what we create and produce outside of ourselves, impermanent. A fire will teach you that very quickly. Then you get to the form. And we want to be like, well, this is pretty permanent. For as long as I'm here, this is pretty permanent. A fire could also teach you that this is not permanent. It's very impermanent. Linear time also teaches that this is impermanent. Even the image of the form. This form will never look like this again. Tomorrow it will be different. So even our form, impermanent. Well, the mind. Now see, that's intangible, therefore, it must be permanent. Ideas. Those I can cling to, baby. Nobody can take my opinions away. I will always hate country music. Not me, the little reader. Someone watching. But even preferences and opinions, impermanent. Get an organ transplant. That'll teach you that. Experience new things, new tastes, new flavors, new people, new ideas, acquire education, or let go of it. Come into contact with a psychedelic substance. Ideas, preferences, beliefs, thoughts. Impermanent. Kick up a strong meditation practice. Thoughts will be proven as impermanent, fickle, and low value relatively quickly. So now we're getting closer to the heart here. The heart. Emotions. Impermanent. They come and go. Happiness comes and goes. Sadness comes and goes. But the heart continues to beat. The heart remains connected to a source of light. The source of light, not necessarily measurable by science's standards as an animating light, although I suppose if you look at the nucleus of a cell, you'll see an electrical charge. Don't quote me on the science. I know not of what I speak. It's a soft science major, darling. But I suppose the electrical charge, which we could think of as light, measurable light, the electrical charge that animates the nervous system, that directs the impulses, that keeps everything alive in the body once the light is gone, once the electricity is out. The light's not there anymore. We can't necessarily look to science right now, at this exact point, this exact juncture in time and space reality, for answers about where that light goes. Cannot necessarily track that yet. But there are sources. Individuals who have experienced NDEs, near-death experiences. Individuals who have transcended the realm of mind, gone all the way through the portal into the heart, into other states of reality. And although they may not have died physically, many, many people, especially in this collective, have experienced an ego death, a death while alive, the loss of a layer of identity. Ego deaths are particularly painful when we lose an identity that we really, really believed in, that we lived through. But the light remains somehow. The light always remains. Until it's gone. Off to the next adventure, perhaps. Does the light inside of us, the light that keeps our heart beating, even if that beating is assisted by technology, does that light have a personality? Well, we know it's constant. We know that while it's there, it's always there. We know it's non-preferential. meaning it doesn't judge. We know that it's silent. It's not loud. But does it have a personality, a persona like the one that we've created? Yes. It does. It's a persona that we would describe as pleasant if we met it. And it is possible to meet this entity that's living inside of us, that spirit recognizes as both us and it. Meeting the light, however, requires traversing the layers, darling. Traversing the layers. Going from out to in. That's meditation for you. That's present moment awareness. Non-judgmental awareness. See, it's possible to have a form, have possessions, have beliefs, have emotions, have opinions. Did I say that? It's possible to have an identity. But our identity can serve as a barrier to entry, to getting to the heart. If we get too invested in placing our energy and awareness on all of these layers, to the degree that we forget that we're not those layers. We have 100% of our energy under our command. It's impossible to have more than 100% of your energy or less than 100% of your energy. While you're alive, you have 100% control over your form and over where you'll place your awareness. Not even your form necessarily. Not all beings have 100% control over their form. But we have 100% control over where we'll place our awareness. That's where our 100% energy starts. And it all starts here in the heart. As we craft this identity, we like to place that energy like we're creating a diversified portfolio. I'll put 10% in my physical appearance. I'll put 20% on acquiring more objects, on my career. Really identify with that. That's where I'm going to put most of my awareness, 20%. Make it 40%. Yeah. So now we've got 50% of our energy, of our awareness, which is synonymous with our energy, invested into the identity. Next, I'm going to put 40% into my mind. I'm going to spend a lot of time in the realm of mind. I'll consume entertainment and I'll talk and I'll think and I'll plan and I'll plot. And that's where I'll put the rest of my energy. And then the remaining 10%, I don't do math, so if that didn't add up, forgive me. The remaining 10% I will put on my relationship. Yes. I'll think about it a lot and I'll put energy and action toward it. Put my awareness on it. If we do that, then we've taken all of the energy from the heart center, that 100% awareness, and we've diversified our portfolio over all our layers. And that will look like a well-balanced life to every other being that is doing the same. And we've talked about this in previous episodes and transmissions. Meetings, you might say. The world that we live in has been one constructed largely by the mind. So it's very much about outcomes and practicality. External living. Living a life that on paper checks all the boxes, particularly where survival is concerned. But what we've done in investing in a diversified portfolio is we've invested for a future that we'll never reach. If we don't take at least some of that awareness, fraction of it, and put it back in the heart center. When you invest your awareness / energy, one and the same, back into your heart center and make it your business, your professional business, to spend time every day simply being absolutely present with the life force that is coursing through your body. No judgments, no analysis, no opinions, and no action plans. We're just setting a timer for 20 minutes and we are sitting with our heart center and observing what it's like when life courses through our body, through our form, and through our mind. And the return we get on that investment is immediate. An immediate boost of vitality to all the systems. An immediate boost of clarity to the mind. An immediate boost of peace to the entire aura, to the imperceptible parts of us that we can't fully sense yet. There's a lot of talk about aura. Speaking of not being able to sense, I'm going to move my sleeping leg. There's a lot of talk about the aura and the spiritual parts of ourselves, and we're always like cleaning our auras and saging and, using crystals to wash away all the sediment that's collected in the invisible realms. There will come a time when we can feel that as clearly as we feel this form. And as we invest the energy, the white light that's being given to us of awareness back into the source, we begin to remember that we can feel that divine identity. We can feel the personality of the divine, this peace-giving, bliss-giving, inspiration-giving, energy-giving source. We can remember why we came here. We can remember why if that's too far out, man, we can remember why, or what if you prefer, our dreams, our mission, our role at its highest, most optimized level is. When we take some of the energy back out of those layers and kick off the day, for example, intent on meeting that awareness. Like, I will not get out of this bed until I have shaken your hand. You. Whatever you are. you will find the awareness does have a character, and it will surge out to meet you. And suddenly, you become aware that there's a realm of reality that isn't form, and it isn't mind. What, little reader, what? It isn't form and it isn't mind? It's heart. Oh, and it's truth. And it's wisdom. And it can be conveyed through a moment like this. When I look into your eyeballs, if you got them. If not, look into your third eye. Look into your heart. You don't have to throw away your identity to taste the deliciousness of the heart. You don't. So if you were panicking about that, we can unpanic right now. All you need to do is visit, show up, before you put the costume on for the day. Memories from the past, goals for the future, aesthetic situation, okay? Opinions, yeah, got those. Religious beliefs, yes. Trauma. Cat. Whatever it is, before you put them on and exit the bed for the day, visit the heart. It's meditation. It's breath work. It begins by, for many, not all, changing the chemical composition of the body. Meditation and breath work, for example, can induce a chemical shift in the body in one session. For some people, they've gotten closest to the heart or to that realm that's not mind and not body with the use of an external chemical. They ingested it, maybe not even through their mouth. Yeah. For others, it doesn't require chemical induction. It can be a realization. Sometimes the mind can skip, like a record scratch, especially if the individual is primed for that by their life circumstances. They just become over it. Over the mental realm, and there's like this pushback. I don't want to be here anymore. An ego death is an example of this. I don't want this identity. I refuse it. And then like a record scratch, suddenly their awareness, they take control back, 100% of it, or a large portion, and thrust it into this realm of heart. Experiencing the realm of heart is going to be different every time as well. It's not going to feel the same every time you visit, just like visiting the realm of mind doesn't feel the same every time you visit. If you're around a person who's particularly grounded, positive, you'll notice your mind operates differently around them. Even if it's even more heinous, it acts differently. If you're immersed in nature, you'll find your mind works differently than when you've sat for 8 hours in front of the television screen. If you listen to one artist's music, you'll find your mind works differently than when you listen to another artist's music or silence. The mind is ever changing as well. It's a huge realm. There's a lot going on in there. And external factors influence it greatly. It's a world of half form, so it just spins off of whatever you introduce. You may even still hold part of your awareness in the realm of mind. Of that 100% allotment, you may still have 50% in the realm of mind while you're visiting the realm of heart. But all it takes, beautiful soul, is one sip, a 1% sampling of the realm of heart to feel something familiar and powerful. And right now, the reason Spirit has me out here doing this is because it's particularly easy to get into the realm of heart right now. Particularly easy. Walls are down. Collective consciousness is ready. The mind is becoming less and less of an attractive haven. It's a habitual location for sure. But these days, even entertainment doesn't tickle the taste buds of awareness the way it used to. Entertainment is largely a mental stimulant. These days, even rumination, anxiety, and depression don't tickle the taste buds the way they used to. That's not to say that those things were recreational fun time, but so much energy spent dwelling in the realm of mind can heighten the experience of those things, make them seem like inescapable, unavoidable realities. Getting a little sampling, just a 1% sampling of that present moment awareness, whether through meditation, whether through the breath, whether through another mindful practice, whether through a type of exercise, or whether through a substance safely taken, legally taken, and overseen by a professional, can begin to allow you, who is that 100% awareness, to pull back every single percentage point and start deliberately and intentionally placing that awareness in the locales of the vast universe that you would like to visit, beautiful soul. And the word on the spiritual street right now is that the hub is right here. That the more you deposit awareness into this space, practicing loving kindness, metta, practicing feeling your emotions, no matter how disgustingly awful or gloriously wonderful they may be, developing a self-love practice, watching the mind. Where do you think your awareness sits when you're watching the mind? It's not in the realm of the mind. It may have a few percentage points. The realm of mind may keep trying to grab your awareness and your energy and pull it back in. It does love it. What doesn't? What doesn't love your awareness, beautiful soul? Everything in this universe is vying for your awareness, even this video right now. But what Spirit's saying is that more and more the content that you begin to witness is going to start pointing you away from it, away from itself, and saying, check out the realm of your heart. Check out this hub right here. Check out some sitting and doing absolutely nothing for 20 minutes at a time, but watching. There are infinite amounts of meditations, infinite forms of breath work, infinite forms of activities that you can be totally mindful about, whether it's shuffling a deck, holding a rock, or even watching a piece of content like this with every fiber of your awareness directed at it. The degree of your presence and awareness in any moment of your life determines the quality and the value of that moment. How it will resonate through all time. This is why the greatest creations, particularly in the artistic communities, music, canvas painting, film and television, legendary works that echo on forever, were created with 100% presence. But the same is true of inventions. It ripples out of you, beautiful soul. You can't stop it once you start it. I'm now going to move my other leg because we like to feel what it's like to have legs while we've got them. So, beautiful soul, that is where we're leaving it today. You can be any of these things. You don't have to forfeit them. You don't have to throw away memories of who you've been, dreams of who you hope to be, opinions, ideas, your career. Nothing needs to be acted upon right now. The action will come uncontrollably when the readiness is relevant. But for now, Spirit invites you to pause, draw that 10% back from career, that 20% back from relationship, that 30% back from entertainment, and whatever remainder is swirling around in miscellaneous aspects of your identity. Pull that into and take a pause from the beautiful art of being the crafted identity to enjoy the beautiful art of being the timeless, eternal identity. Not only can you do it, you will. And it may just be the greatest experience yet. All right, beautiful soul. Until we meet again, I'm sending you all the love I've got. More and more love, never less. Bye for now.